Yes, here we are. Good evening. Hope you had a good day. Thank you for joining us. And we welcome viewers tonight from all of Yorkshire and Lincolnshire and also North Nottinghamshire as well. On the programme tonight, DNA tests show that seagulls are to blame for the filthy seawater at Bridlington, but Yorkshire Water are not off the hook.
The seagulls that are often on the beach, kind of down here, are maybe the main contributor to water quality issues at this site.
Also tonight, nearly a month on strike without pay, 700 factory workers sacrificing their wages in the hope of a pay rise.
Nobody wants to be out on strike, but these workers are out on strike, and I've just been speaking to them this morning. They are frightened about what's going to be happening over the next months and years.
Also this evening, questions over who's in charge at Humberside Police. Why does nobody want to work for you?
Well, the thing is, it's all about timing, Peter.
Nobody applied.
It's only, if you can just let me finish, Peter. It's all about timing.
Humberside Police are rated outstanding in a new report, while the force are on the hunt for a new chief constable. The last one is being investigated over allegations of misconduct. I'd like your views tonight, your experience of Humberside Police. Do they deserve their several outstanding ratings? Your police comments, please, if you want to get in touch on this story or any of our other stories. The email address is there, looknorth@bbc.co.uk, or you want to follow me on Twitter, tweet me now. I look forward to hearing from you. We'll have some of your comments and the full story later in the programme. And this evening, the words are a clue here. The taxi driver who's been waiting 36 years to pick up a famous fare has done just that. But who could it be?
Well, it won't be you. You're too tight to get in a taxi, I'll tell you that for sure. But I'll be back with a detailed forecast for the whole of Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. Don't miss it in 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're already public enemy number one in Bridlington, but after a long scientific investigation using DNA, it's now confirmed that seagulls are also the main cause of filthy seawater. The South Bay has been badly affected by pollution for years, meaning its South Beach never gets a Blue Flag award. And while Yorkshire Water and its sewage discharges are still a big part of the problem, it's birds getting the blame. Well, with the latest in this seaside saga, here's our environment correspondent, Paul Murphy.
Their distinctive call is part of the soundtrack of the seaside, but it's what's coming out from the other end of the seagull that's now proving to be a problem in Bridlington. DNA analysis is putting them partly in the frame for local sea pollution.
Seagulls that are often on the beach, kind of down here, are maybe the main contributor to water quality issues at this site. But they're not alone. There's also, when it rains, we found last year that there were indicators of human DNA in the water.
The town's busy harbour with its cafes and chip shops is a prime feeding ground for the herring gull. A bird protected by law.
We need to change our behaviour, less litter, look after the place. I think it's the answer, you can't stop them, this is their natural habitat.
Probably won't culling, to be fair.
You're not allowed to, they're protected.
Right, I don't know though, because they're nasty, aren't they?
There's not a lot you can do about that problem. In the summer season, when you've got everybody from everywhere coming here, things happen, people do drop food. Chips do get dropped, but they do get cleaned up by the seagulls.
South Beach is the jewel in the crown of this resort, but the council is concerned that the ongoing water quality issue here is damaging the reputation of the town.
I need to see results. And for me, not to see a blue flag here at Bridlington when I have a blue flag at Hornsea and at Withensea. And I want everyone to come and enjoy themselves along our coast.
The pollution investigations also found that Yorkshire Water's sewage overflows could also be part of the problem on South Beach.
We're not happy with storm overflows operating and impacting our bathing beaches, so we've put forward ambitious plans to invest in improving those storm overflows, reducing the impact they have right the way across Yorkshire.
Castigated for chip theft and getting grief for their guano. But as long as food, litter and people are in such abundance here, the seagulls will keep on coming. Paul Murphy, BBC Look North, Bridlington.
Yeah, certainly get people talking tonight. Quick off the markets. Craig says, surprise, surprise, seagulls are responsible for dirty seawater. Gives new credence to what I've always said, seagulls are rats with wings. We will follow that story. Now, at the inquest into the death of a young police trainee, a sergeant has accepted his management style was blunt and could be foul-mouthed. 21-year-old Anugrah Abraham was found dead while on attachment to Halifax police station. At the inquest today, Sergeant Mark Wade said he never intended to upset anybody. West Yorkshire police have not accepted claims of bullying and racism made by Mr. Abraham's family. Now, we've heard this one before in Withensea. It was actually last December. Hard to believe that it is happening again. This time, though, in Scunthorpe. A man has been arrested after a power cable was stolen from a mobile breast screening unit. It'll cost £2,000 to replace after it was taken from the car park of the Lakeside Retail Park on Friday. The 36-year-old man was found yesterday and is now in custody. A long-standing 30-mile-an-hour limit on the M62, the Ouse Bridge near Howden and Goole, has been partly lifted. After more than 2 years, bridge repair work is near an end, and now drivers heading west towards Leeds can travel at 50 miles an hour, but don't get caught out, it's still 30 heading east. National Highways say expects the 70-mile-an-hour limit to be reintroduced in both directions by the end of next week. Some people probably have a party for that after 2 years. Now, the Reform MP, Richard Tice, who represents Boston and Skegness, has said he predicts in less than a year steelmaking in the UK will no longer exist unless Labour government acts now. He's been outlining his proposals for British steelmaking this morning.
We need to take a strategic stake in British Steel to guarantee that the blast furnaces in Scunthorpe will not close. We cannot run that risk. Because otherwise, if the electric arc furnaces are not built, we've got nothing. Niente. After food and water, steel is the third most important component of a modern civilization. Without steel, you've got no internet, no cars, no buildings, no infrastructure, nothing. You're back to mud huts. I don't call that progress.
Richard Tice talking earlier today. Now, 3 weeks with no pay and on strike since September. They are 700 workers who make food for top supermarkets, including Tesco, Waitrose and M&S. They want more than the 6% pay rise being offered by their bosses at Bakkavor. Today, the General Secretary of the Unite Union met the striking workers at the factory in Spalding. Jake Zuckerman has this report.
Every day, millions of people around the globe enjoy our food. We are Bakkavor.
Soups, salads, dips and pizzas. If you've ever bought chilled food from a big supermarket, there's a good chance you've eaten something prepared by Bakkavor in Spalding. But now staff who work to put food on the table are themselves the ones who are fed up. Fed up with the company's pay offer.
I believe that the money which we get, it's not, that what we're supposed to get. The difference between the minimum wage, almost everyone will be soon on minimum wage, and it has to change.
Everyone wants to go back to work, so if they come back with an offer, which they haven't done when we've been on strike so far, then I think it will be accepted.
I have 3 kids, and they're saying inflation goes down, but everything else goes up.
700 union members at the West Marsh Road site have been on strike for nearly 3 weeks now, having rejected a pay increase of 7.8% for the lowest paid and 6.4% for others. Today, the top official at the union Unite, General Secretary Sharon Graham, came to support striking workers and to send a stark message to Bakkavor's management.
I'm going to be ringing the CEO on Friday, speaking to Mike Edwards to say to him that if he does not solve this dispute, then I'll be ringing Marks and Spencer's, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Pizza Express, and we will be outside those stores.
You've got a CEO on £2.4 million a year, and you've got these workers on the minimum wage or just above the minimum wage. 6% of nothing is nothing. All they're asking for is 8%. It's pennies as far as this company is concerned, and they need to do the right thing.
In a statement, Bakkavor said, "We are clearly disappointed that the union moved forward with strike action despite our efforts to positively negotiate with them and us putting a good deal on the table, well above inflation and the national living wage." Now, the company says disruption to supply has been minimised and that it has been working with customers to put detailed contingency plans in place. Such a long period of continuous strike action is relatively unusual, but there's still no sign of either side backing down. Jake Zuckerman, BBC Look North, Spalding.
Yeah, they get just above the minimum wage, and of course we will continue to follow that story at Bakkavor. Now, Humberside Police is again officially one of the best forces in the country. Here's the Chief Constable's reaction to the report by His Majesty's inspectors, which gives them ratings including outstanding and good in most areas.
The outstandings are for preventing crime, protecting vulnerable people and developing a positive workforce. And then, of course, we've got goods in other areas as well, haven't we? So they're brilliant too.
You said that the force was graded outstanding for preventing crime. Now, the sceptic might say that's fortunate because if a crime does occur, this force is not so great at investigating it.
Well, you're right. In the report, it tells us that we require some improvement around investigation. And we already know that. There's nothing in this report that we wouldn't agree with and that we didn't already know. And we've been making a lot of effort since the report and since the inspectorate came in to improve our investigations all the time.
Well, Judy Heaton is in the job on a temporary basis after the former Chief Constable, Paul Anderson, left quickly and a high-level investigation started into his conduct. Since then, Humberside Police has struggled to recruit a new permanent Chief Constable. And although the latest report into the force is good, the Chief Inspector of Constabulary, who signed it off, has written a separate, sharp letter to the Humberside Police and Crime Commissioner, saying he has serious worries about instability in the force's leadership. I spoke to the Commissioner, Jonathan Everson, about that letter. This letter from the HMIC with the Peel report to you, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, it talks about leadership and
it says, "I am writing to express my concerns about the situation the force finds itself in." That is embarrassing, isn't it?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, the HMIC have not come and spoken to us. They're critical of leadership within the force.
So it's their fault, is it?
No, it's not. It's not at all. That's not what I'm saying. But they, I acted very, very quickly when the previous Chief Constable left, and I employed a temporary Chief Constable who was an outstanding officer.
You say good, but not as good as 2 years ago.
There have only been 8 outstandings given to police forces nationally so far out of 23
So you
police
accept
forces.
it wasn't as good as 2 years ago?
And in fact, Humberside have 3 outstanding.
Yeah,
so we
you
are
accept
still.
it wasn't as good as 2 years ago?
We are still the outstanding force, Peter.
You say outstanding, preventing crime and antisocial behaviour, outstanding. Some people watching the telly might say, I don't think it's outstanding. So where's the...
Well, if you go back to the unrest in Hull, the high number of arrests, Humberside Police were actually absolutely inundated with calls from the public in respect, and you've done a fantastic job, this is what we do. And if you look at the Office of National Statistics survey, which was just, Humberside Police has gone from 28th to the 3rd best police force in the country.
You lost a Chief Constable, you advertised for a new one, and no one applied. Why does nobody want to work for you?
Well, the thing is, it's all about timing, Peter.
Nobody applied.
It's only, if you can just let me finish, Peter. If it's all about timing. Humberside is an outstanding force. It's a very difficult thing for somebody with a quite short of maximum years to go to an outstanding force because it can go pear-shaped. And we have listened to what the what the inspectorate have said, and we have retained Judy for an extra 6 months, hopefully, and we are going back out, and we already have 3 expressions of interest.
But the Chief Constable is the top job.
I'll just retract. I'll just go back. It's an outstanding force. We have outstanding people in depth in the force. So the vacancies, I mean, we have 100 vacancies every year because of retirement of people moving on. So the vacancies that have actually occurred within the force are being backfilled immediately, and the performance has improved.
Whistleblowers have told us the top corridors are empty. It's normally like a boys' club with bad language and inappropriate jokes. Is that news to you?
You're talking about the investigation by the Independent Office of Police Conduct, which is associated with the ex-Chief Constable. I cannot comment on that, and you know I can't comment on that, because that's an investigation that's live. And if you need to find some information about that, you need to go to the Independent Office of Police Conduct, because they have primacy over
But
this.
all I said to you was, was that a shock to you?
Anything I say, Peter, will be construed in lots of different ways, and I'm not going to comment on that.
Are you the right person to sort this out? It feels like an awful lot on your plate.
Of course I'm the right person. I'm the Police and Crime Commissioner. It's my job to sort it out.
Yeah, the Police and Crime Commissioner talking to me. Like your views on this one. Also, if you work for Humberside Police and you want to send a comment, you can be anonymous, of course, if you want to. Humberside Police were rated outstanding in several areas, including preventing crime and protecting vulnerable people. Do you agree with the ratings? What is your experience of the force? Are you concerned about the leadership of the force? If you want to get in touch, the email address is there. looknorth@bbc.co.uk. Look north, all one word, at bbc.co.uk. Follow me on Twitter if you want to tweet now, and text 81333 81333. Start the text with the word Look North. We'll have some of your comments at the end of the programme and tomorrow night. Thank you for watching. Good to have all of Yorkshire with us tonight. You are welcome. Good to have your company. Tonight's photograph is taken by Mags, and it is of Hornsey. Thank you, Mags, for that. Another picture tomorrow, around about the same time.
I'm sure you showed that last night, Peter.
No,
but,
I didn't show it last night. There now follows on BBC One a public apology. I'll read you one of many. Kevin, I studied meteorology to attain my certificates in the Merchant Navy. He got it wrong today. There's quite a few of them.
Well, maybe he needs to go back to college and get a new thermometer. I mean, we had 20 degrees in South Lincolnshire today, so
Sue. We were told to look out for the warm weather today. Did my washing this morning, hung it out first thing. It's now 5 o'clock and still wet. Anything to say?
Get your ears syringed. I never said that in the first place. So, it's like the Wednesday whinge, Peter. I mean, it could be a new feature.
Could be a new slot.
Yeah. Would you like the forecast?
Why
Here we
not?
go.
Why not?
Right, OK. Well, it's a much better day in prospect right across Yorkshire and Lincolnshire. A really nice day to come tomorrow with some sunshine, and all parts should be dry. Complicated setup, though. We'll just about get away with Friday being a nice day, but this system will bring more rain in from the west Friday night into Saturday. Saturday afternoon should improve with some sunshine, and then this system here will bring wet and windy weather in from the west during Sunday, so quite turbulent weather to come into the weekend. Now, we've got a lot of rain to come tonight. You can see on the radar picture it's straddled down the western side of the UK and it's heading north-eastward. So after that, really quite mild day in South Lincolnshire. Once again, 19 or 20 degrees was reported. We're going to see that rain moving northeastwards. The yellows and greens indicate some very heavy rain, especially across western parts of Yorkshire, patchier in nature towards the coast. One or two showers following, but most of us should be dry by the end of the night. A very mild night indeed for this time of the year. 14 Celsius is 57 degrees Fahrenheit. So a bit of patch of cloud first thing in the morning, but that will soon break up. And then, as I say, it's a big improvement. Today, of course, has been overcast for many with extensive mist and fog, but plenty of blue sky and sunshine. If you look very carefully, the odd shower across the Pennines, but elsewhere it looks likely to be dry and still above average temperatures. The average is around about 14, and we're going to get 17 or 18. 18 in Boston, 64 Fahrenheit, cooler across the Yorkshire Dales. Further ahead then, Friday looks nice, but a very unsettled weekend to follow with showers or longer spells of rain and strong winds. Peter, that's the forecast.
Rob says, I volunteer in Lincoln's British Heart Foundation shop and we've recently been donated Paul's book, That's the Forecast. The problem is, should we display it in our fiction or non-fiction department?
Well,
that's brilliant.
Probably the fiction section, to be honest, but there we are. Very good.
I bet the book is signed. They all are.
Yeah. They're all 50p now, Peter.
All
you know,
50p.
Fill your boots.
Have a nice evening.
And you.
Take care. Now, just how does illegal stuff get inside Doncaster Prison? A day-long police operation to stop drugs and other banned items getting in did not find any contraband among 120 visitors or more than 150 prison staff yesterday. But after searches of 14 prison cells, illicit items were found, including cannabis, the drug spice, tobacco, USB sticks, and charging devices. Here's Mark Ansell.
This is one of the many ways drugs make it into prison, when criminals throw them over the walls. A man was jailed last week for doing this at Peterborough Prison. The walls around HMP Doncaster may be high, but so are some of the inmates. Drugs are said to be rife in prisons. On the perimeter, a police operation is underway. A variety of tactics are used to stop smugglers.
There are lots of routes that we know that people try and get items into prison, be that through drones, be that through throwovers, be that through visits. Ultimately, if you're coming in as a visitor today and there's a drone flying above, we've got mounted out patrol on the perimeter, you're going to think twice about bringing anything in.
She's so clever, good.
Fern, the English Springer Spaniel, is on the search for contraband that visitors and sometimes even corrupt staff attempt to smuggle into Doncaster Prison. 2 years ago, prison officer Rio Moran was jailed for smuggling drugs into HMP Doncaster.
What's your response to your members of staff actually being part of the problem?
So there are lots of different routes of getting contraband into the prison, which you've already alluded to. Some of those routes may be to do with corruption, and again, any criminal activity, we have a zero tolerance approach to, and we work with South Yorkshire Police to ensure that this doesn't happen.
Police have searched 160 prison staff and 120 visitors to the prison and have found no contraband items. However, they have also searched 14 cells, and in there they found tobacco, cannabis, spice, charging devices and memory sticks.
Visitors and staff at Doncaster Prison are being warned. The police will be back again soon. Mark Ansell, BBC Look North, Doncaster.
A search of Doncaster Prison yesterday. Now, the self-proclaimed king of curry from Bradford, who founded a chain of Indian restaurants, has died at the age of 56. Shabir Hussain has been described as a pioneer of the curry industry. He opened the first Akbars in 1995 and quickly expanded. He claimed to have invented the first vertical hanging server for naan bread to save space on the table. Mr. Hussain died yesterday after a short illness.
We've known Shabir for over 2 decades now, not as just as a fellow restaurateur, but as a good friend, as a good man, who's done so much for this industry of ours, and he was a great ambassador for Bradford and our hospitality industry. He was definitely one of the pioneers and a trailblazer in the Asian scene.
My word, he certainly was, and our thoughts tonight are with Shabir's family and friends. Very popular and a pioneer in Bradford. Now, big response to a story that we did yesterday on skinny jabs to get people back into work, a government plan that was labelled a quick fix by some. Thank you for the emails, texts and tweets on this, a very popular one as well. First of all, Bob says, fat jabs are just another health situation when we treat the symptoms and not the causes. Gray says that 11 pizza shops on Holderness Road and not one fruit and veg shop. I rest my case, says Gray. And finally, Mandy is in Skegness. I think it's a good idea to get overweight people back into work. It's a lifestyle, not an illness. Thank you very much indeed for those. Now, taxi driver Steve Potts from Woodall Spa has been waiting 36 years to pick up someone famous, and now it has finally happened. He's been talking to Crispin Rolfe about it.
I arrived, they came out, and hey, that's a big surprise.
As a taxi driver, you never quite know who you're going to pick up, but for the last 36 years, Steve Potts has been hoping for a celebrity. And finally, his dreams come true.
You'd think that might have happened to me by now. So yeah, it was good, and it was somebody I liked, which makes all the difference.
We've come to wave you off. It turns out that Steve Potts wasn't the only one chauffeuring someone famous round Woodall Spa. Louise Tempest works at the Kinema in the Woods, and she also got to give him a lift.
I've never met anybody famous before, so that was, yeah, it was incredible. Both me and my husband were just blown away meeting him and his lovely wife. It was, yeah, amazing.
But who, when, and why Woodall Spa? For this very well-known actor.
This whole area was once bustling. Men and women coming together from all over the world.
What about you?
Are you some secret explorer?
So, James Bolam was invited here to Kinema in the Woods for a special screening.
And that screening was of A Memory Ode, a short film starring the original Likely Lad himself, James Bolam.
Stop!
And having been shot last year nearby at East Kirkby in Lincolnshire.
Every one of those chaps could have disappeared in one night.
A starstruck moment then, perhaps, and a starstruck moment now for Steve the taxi driver.
We've got about 5 years to go, so let's have a few more celebrities in. That'll be good.
Crispin Rolfe, BBC Look North, in Woodall Spa.
Yeah, great story, James Bolam. Only When I Laugh was my favourite. If you does anyone remember that? It was made in Leeds, actually. Now, a reminder of our main story tonight. After DNA analysis, gulls are being blamed for sewage in our seawater. Tomorrow's weather, a much drier and brighter day with sunny spells increasing. Top temperatures going to feel very warm tomorrow, getting up to 18 Celsius. 18 is 64 Fahrenheit. Now, just finally, a response on the subject of Humberside Police. Martin says the police are still well below par. A relation of mine is an officer and took some vital information about a crime to his superior, and he was told to forget it and move on. Suzanne says, Peter, I nearly choked on my meal when you said the police were outstanding. Don't think they are. Jeff says the question is not, are they any good? The question is, where are they? Kerry says, are you kidding me? Can't remember the last time I saw a police officer. Where are they? Carol says, personally, I think perhaps we've got the wrong commissioner. And Kev says, I've been involved with Humberside Police and agree with this report. The force is managed very well. They should be congratulated. Thank you for those. We'll have some more tomorrow night. And thank you for watching. And once again, lovely to have viewers right across North Nottinghamshire and the whole of Yorkshire. See you tomorrow. Take care. Good night.